Just getting started, this is the Userful Partner Training, and thank you for joining. What we're going to cover here is this is a brief agenda. Talk a bit about what Userful does, how Userful is different, how Userful works. We'll spend a bit more time understanding the solution, looking at markets, features. We'll look at the advanced subscription and cloud management. Also going to, of course, talk about pricing and then sales and marketing. So this is really all that you need to know about Userful and how to take it to market with your customers. So I always like to start with this slide. It's a short account of why video walls are important to your business. There's a growing demand for video walls throughout the world. According to markets, we're in the midst of a very rapid growth phase for the video wall sector. But there remain challenges there, and cost and complexity are two of the key ones. People are looking for video walls, but often the features that they're looking for are priced out of their budget, and the complexity has made things difficult to manage and to deploy. But there's a big market if you can address those challenges, and that's what Userful does. So very quick slide about what Userful does and who we are. One of the models we've got is when a 2x2 video wall just won't do. We enable you to deploy stunning, creative, and even interactive video walls up to 100 screens. We do multi-source, multi-zone capability for command and control centers and support non-standard artistic layouts at a fraction of the cost of competitors. That really sums it up. There's many different ways to deploy very simple video walls. A 2x2, as this line suggests. But once you get into more complicated deployments, whether that's because they're an odd aspect ratio for digital signage or because they're requiring you to juggle many different content sources with various multi-window configurations as in a control room, that's when things get complicated and get expensive. Until, of course, Userful steps in, and that's what we do. We bring you a premium solution with all those high-end features that is simple, easy to use, and affordable. So let's talk a bit about some of those basic elements. We do 100 plus screens from a single PC for digital signage applications. We also do control room video walls. These are used for team collaboration, visualization, and of course, the same concept is extended to meeting rooms and other corporate communication and collaboration style deployments. We also, of course, do artistic video walls. You can see here we're talking about angle rotation of individual displays, a mix of display sizes. One of the unique things that we can do is angle single screens or one screen within the video wall 360 degrees or the entire video wall 360 degrees. And you can also, of course, place screens in different ways across the canvas. And we'll look a bit more about that, but you probably know much about how we work with artistic video walls already. Just before we get into the how it works stuff, very quick summary of the Userful solution. We have, sort of what we do. Turn a high-end PC into, or a standard PC, into a high-performance browser-managed video wall controller. By browser-managed, we mean you can manage it within the local area network through your browser, or we can manage it through the cloud on your browser. I'm going to show you how all that works in a little bit as well. You can do up to 8K source resolution. You can do up 100 plus screens, 30 or 60 frames a second. So that's lots of data there. Our data sheet, of course, has all of this in detail. You can find that in the partner portal. We're going to visit that in a moment. We support screen rotation, as I was saying, for non-standard artistic layouts, as well as interactive video walls, and I'll show you how all of that works. So you can put a native browser or a desktop up onto the video wall. And the key thing, of course, is you can do that from the PC itself. You don't have to have a separate desktop or browser that's being captured and put up on the video wall. The actual Userful PC can support those requirements itself. Multi-zone, multi-source video walls, so we're talking about picture-in-picture, multi-window, etc. We support presets, so you can save in advance your various layouts and then invoke them using schedule, using a touch screen, or using our API. And again, we'll talk a bit about that in a moment. You can control the mouse and the keyboard of a video wall from a tablet or a phone or from a desktop, which is great in network operation centers, control rooms, other places where you're wanting the operator to be able to interact with the video wall. And it's all, again, centrally configured and managed through a web browser and through the cloud. The API, which I mentioned earlier, allows a lot of customization and interactivity, advanced controls through commands pulled from third-party applications, the Internet of Things, software, hardware, presence detection, and so on. And of course, key to all this is it requires just a standard PC. We certify specific PCs, which then can be used to deploy a variety of different types of video walls. So you don't need specialized hardware. These are off-the-shelf PCs from HP and from Lenovo. So this slide is something I always like to spend a bit of time on, which is the how it works. This is just trying to make sure that everyone's on the same page about how the solution works and how it comes together. So in the center of it, you can see we've got the computer, standard PC from HP or from Lenovo. Our software goes on it. Now, our software is not an app that sits on Windows. It installs on bare metal. So it formats the hard drive and installs everything you need, which is important because your customers don't want to be managing a desktop, worrying about viruses and security, etc. They just want this to function as an appliance, which is how we often refer to it. It's like a great metaphor. It's like your fridge or your stove. It does one thing, does it well. That's what we turn that PC into, a video wall appliance. That connects through a standard network, Ethernet switch, gigabit Ethernet switch. It's important that all ports are gigabit. In some cases, it's important that the uplink to the PC itself is 10 gig. That's when you're doing a large number of screens or very large content. And I'll show you using our configurator tool later on when and how you'll have to know whether you're going to need 10 gig on the uplink. It's not very often, but we make it clear pre-deployment what you're going to need. Each screen gets a zero client on the back of it. These are kind of key to the functioning of the solution, and I'll show you how those are there. They've got HDMI output, which goes to the screen, and then an Ethernet connection, which goes off to the PC. They also have sound input and output and a connection there for USB if you wanted to plug in a keyboard and so on. But there's other ways to control the mouse and keyboard of a video wall, and I'll show you those in a moment. All of it's managed through the browser, and you can see that in the bottom right-hand side, and I'm going to be spending a bit of time walking you through that. And then you've got all the content sources as well. There's just about no content you can't put up on a Userful video wall, and I'll walk you through a bit about that in a moment. I've talked about the zero client devices. These are small. They have no moving parts. There's no software on them. There's no hard drive, there's no memory, no processor. These are really just outputting pixels. We sometimes refer to them as network addressable video cards because that's really all they do. They just put content up onto the video wall. The processing work is all done by the PC itself, which is part of the genius of our solution, that you're able to centrally take care of all the rendering and the content work. It's not about daisy chaining a bunch of different players on the back of screens. These things are just connected to the PC and outputting the pixels rendered by the computer itself. And now, key to this, of course, is the fact that it's all managed through the browser. So I'm going to show you quickly how browser management works. We've got two different tools that I'm going to spend some time showing you. Let me just show that to you now. I'm going to tab over to oops, sorry, let me get the right. Here we go. So this is the Userful Control Center, and the Userful Control Center is really the beating heart of a Userful deployment. This is accessible through a browser. You can even get to it through the cloud, and I'll show you that in a moment as part of the cloud services option. But what you can see here in the center, we've got all the different screens in the video walls, and then on the left of that, we've got the content options, and on the left of that, got the configuration options. So these video walls and screens, you can see them. Obviously, Userful can support both video walls and individual screens, and can support multiple video walls on the same PC, and that's what we've got here. If you double click, you'll get this screen. You can click on Calibrate the video wall. And calibration is what allows you to set up and manage the video wall. You can see here we've got this artistic video wall where you've got different screens at different angles, and you can rotate them as needed. You can click on here to see the size, the rotation, and the position on the XY axis, which can be manually manipulated. You can also, of course, work with grid video walls as well, and I'll show you how those work. Double click on that, calibrate that video wall. And you can see here how you can adjust the spacing, bezel correction, adjust the padding, color calibration as well. That's how you actually lay out the video wall. If you look here, you can see that each of these has a number. Those numbers correspond to the screens. And if I click on Show IDs, it will show the numbers on the screens themselves. So I'm just going to click OK on that. One of the cool things you can do here, of course, is also create zones within the video wall. So I'm going to create multiple zones here. And I can do that by adding zones within this. And I can then select different screens to make up the zones of that video wall. And so now I'm going to have a couple of different versions of this video wall, and you can see there I've got one that is 2 screens on the left, one that is 2 screens on the right, one that is all 4 screens. And so this then opens up the option of having different pieces of content playing on different portions of the video wall, and does it in a way that allows you to preset what you want to be on each of them and save those presets and later invoke them. So for example, right now I've got this content playing on the 4-screen video wall, and I'm going to move this up here, and I'm going to move this up to our RTP feed in the Blackmagic capture card, and then I can save that as a preset. Now the way I save presets, first I've got to go into settings here and make sure everything's enabled on the remote control settings, preset switcher, interactive viewer, okay, there we go. And now, instead of clicking apply, I can click save as, and I will save that as a preset and name that preset. And that preset can later be invoked by a schedule saying, okay, at 2 p.m. we're going to play that preset, or by the touch of a touch screen using our preset switcher, or through the API. And every time I change what's on a particular video wall, whether it's the zones of the video wall, or I'm just moving an individual screen over and changing what's on that, I can just change what's on each of these pieces of content by moving them, each of these video walls by moving them to a different piece of content. You can see they get highlighted in yellow, and the apply button is now available, and I can save that as another preset. I'm just going to call that preset 2, and now we've got 2 different presets that we can use, again, either by scheduling them, by touching on a screen for immediate switch over that preset, or by using our API to invoke those changes. So that's a taste of the power of Userful's presets. One of the things I wanted to make sure that I highlighted here. Lots of other exciting stuff that you can do through the control center, of course. One is pulling up different content sources. If I click on new source, I can name this source. I'm going to call it video, and I can select the type of source I'm going to be playing up here, and I'm just going to select signage player, and that allows me to pull files from the hard drive of that PC. I can pull as many files as I want. I can select multiple files and so on, and I can change the order of them. And this basically allows you to create a playlist of still images and videos, and then play that on whatever screens, zones, or video walls that you choose to. You can see here when it doesn't match the aspect ratio of the displays, it asks you how you want to treat it, whether it's scale to fit, stretch to full screen, or zoom full screen. So I'm going to click OK on that. Now you can see my video source has appeared down here, and I can again drag and drop displays down to it, and they will then play that content which I've just allowed. Here on the right you can see there's mirror mode. So I can create a mirror group, which will mean all of those screens will play the same content at the same time. Now, here you can see I am also able to combine pieces of content. Sorry, let me do that. Now I'm having these 2 content options, these 2 source options available on these screens. That enables the user to choose between those. So as the administrator, I've said, okay, you can either play one piece or the other, and this is going to be what's available on those screens. So in the top one, you can see you're either able to play Blackmagic 4K capture, RTSP feed, or an RTP stream. Any of those 3 can be played on the zone within that video wall, or if I move this video wall up, on that video wall as well. And there's a variety of ways that the end user can choose that, again, either by using a smartphone, choosing on it, or by displaying a menu on the video wall when it starts up, and they can choose it that way as well. So there's a few different options. Obviously, most opt for that preset, opt for to be able to change it, say on a phone or a tablet. There's a URL you would go to, and you could just click and change the source. That function is called the source switcher, and I'll show you a bit more about that in a moment. On the left-hand side, we've got all of the settings, and that's pretty straightforward. You can look at the displays, storage, and here are all your settings, and also there's a link to support. So let me jump back over to the slides. There we go. And talk a bit about control room related features. So on this screen, you can see all the different options we've got for the layout itself. I talked a bit about zones there, but we can do other types of flexible layouts as well. So the next one down is picture-in-picture, and you can see that as one source in the background and one or more sources on top of it. And then the bottom one is multi-window, which is different than zones in that you can have the windows split across displays. So you could have 4 zones within a single display, or in this case, we've got a 9-screen video wall with 4 just about even zones. So this allows you basically to create windows that aren't bound by the bezels of the display. That's really what zones are. They are displays or groups of displays. And the zones themselves, they're available in creative and the control tiers. This is how the licensing is done, and there's some limited use in professional tier. Picture-in-picture is only available in the control tier, as is multi-window. They're really features aimed mostly at control rooms or other types of collaborative spaces, meeting rooms, dashboards, that kind of thing. Interactive viewer, I talked a little bit about this a moment ago. This is what allows you to control the mouse and keyboard of video wall from your display or from your desktop, or from your phone or from your tablet. Basically, you can have one or more tabs open on your phone or your tablet, and each of those can correspond to one of the zones within the video wall, and then you can switch back and forth and have control over different portions of the video wall that way. So you're basically taking control of the mouse and keyboard of a video wall from your desktop. This is ideal for Network Operations Center or other places where you've got lots of browser and interactive content that you might need to interact with, or a dashboard where you might need to select different options that you're wanting to view. Anytime you're wanting to interact with a video wall, this is a quick and easy way to do it. Next slide, preset switcher. So this also is about interactivity. And if you remember a moment ago, I showed you how to preset all sorts of different options, how to save presets. And then I said there's lots of ways to invoke them. One is the preset switcher, and you can see it illustrated with in the bottom of the slide with the hand touching the smartphone. You can use the preset switcher to change those presets from a smartphone. The presets I created just now, one was called preset and the other was called 2, would appear on that smartphone. You touch the right one and the content and the configuration of the video wall will change. So this doesn't just change the sources on the video wall, it can change the look of the video wall as well. You could change from having displays in picture-in-picture or multi-window to having a single image across the entire video wall and vice versa. Here you can see the change that's going on is having each screen displaying its own content to 4 of the screens displaying a single map and the other 5 screens continue to display individual content. So all those changes can go at once. In fact, you can change multiple video walls and multiple displays all at once. You can change everything that's connected to a single PC at the touch of a button. I did mention earlier that you can also change those presets in other ways, for example, using Userful's API or using our scheduling tool that's in the cloud, which I'll show you in a moment as well. Just to clarify a couple of differences here, preset switcher and source switcher. Source switcher, which is the bottom one there, just allows you to change the source, just the content. You can't change the layout, and it can only be done on one screen or video wall at a time. Preset switcher, you can change everything that's connected to a single PC, and you can change the layout as well. You can switch from zones to a full image across the entire video wall, or you can switch picture-in-picture, multi-window, all those different types of configuration options can be switched as well. So source switchers, just changing the source on a video wall. Userful's REST API is also worth talking about very briefly. This is ideal for anyone that wants to program changes to the Userful video wall using third-party connections. So that could be presence detection, or it could be something triggered in the cloud, or it could be something triggered by a touch screen as well. So the API allows you to do many different things with the Userful video wall. Support for the API requires valid maintenance and support to use. And then if you want to work with our dev team on your project, it's $2,000 retail for each of the customers, developers who want access to Userful's dev team. This isn't Userful doing the coding or the programming. This is Userful's dev team supporting your programmers. I should have mentioned, I'm just going to back up one step. I should have mentioned preset switcher versus source switcher, a key thing. Preset switcher is available either in the control tier or through an advanced subscription. The source switcher is available at all tiers, standard and higher, and we're going to dive into the tiers in a moment. But the preset switcher is available in the control tier, or it's also available through our advanced subscription. So someone that has a lower tier but wants this tool can get it through an advanced subscription. So here, let's look quickly at Userful's pricing. This is all retail pricing, of course, and you'll have our partner pricing, but let me run through the tiers and how it works. The reason Userful has a tiered structure is because Userful can be used in just about any kind of video wall deployment, or any kind someone wants to centrally control their displays. And so we've set up tiers in order to be cost effective with each of those use cases. So it starts on the right-hand side with standard, which is 2x2 video walls and single displays. So if you just had a digital sign or kiosk, something like that, this is how it would be: $99 a license, $54 a year for support. And that support includes basic cloud, which is a basic level of cloud management and access, and I'll show you how that works in a moment. Professional, which is the next tier up, that supports grid video walls, and again, you can do up to 100 screens on this, but it's any grid video wall other than a 2x2. So if you've got a 1x3 or a 3x3, etc., that falls under grid video wall. It's just a 2x2 in landscape mode that's part of standard. Professional is $449 a license, and then $67 a year for support per display. Creative, which is for artistic video walls, $799 for the license, and then $96 for support. And Ultimate, which is for control video walls, most often used control rooms, but certainly also in boardrooms and other times you're wanting to take advantage of the flexibility on layout in terms of zones, picture-in-picture, this kind of thing. $849 a license, and $101 a year for support. That tier also includes features like our interactive viewer and the preset switcher. Advanced features are also available with our cloud management option, which is part of our advanced subscription. So the advanced subscription, you can see on the grid below, is an add-on which can be added to any of the tiers above. So it includes a bundle of cloud management and control features that can be added on to any of those tiers. So this is an extra layer that is optional, but allows people to get some of those more advanced features that they may require for their deployments. And so the next slides that I wanted to cover are really talking about the advanced subscription. So here are the subscriptions options. We've got the basic subscription, which just gives access to Userful Cloud, a dashboard so you can view and manage screens through the cloud. And I'll show you this in a moment, email alerts. And you can remotely monitor health and manage updates and so on. Then the advanced subscription includes all of those features, of course, but then also it includes more advanced cloud management options, such as scheduling for your presets. So you can schedule what time your presets would be invoked. That can change source content, or it can change layout of the video wall, or it can change both. You can also centrally manage the content. You can upload content through the cloud and deploy it across all your deployments. Great for multi-site management of multi-site Userful deployments. You've got a dashboard to centrally manage everything. You've got cloud access to the Userful Control Center. The Userful Control Center is what I was showing you there a moment ago. The advanced subscription also, though, includes Userful's preset switcher and interactive viewer. Now, those are two features that are available in the Ultimate Control tier. If you just skip back to this slide, you'll see that Userful's Ultimate Control tier is the more expensive of the options. It includes those features common for control rooms and command centers and other types of deployment. But you can use those features, the interactive viewer and the preset switcher, in any of our tiers if you purchase the advanced subscription. So let's talk briefly about cloud. Cloud is a great way to manage multi-site deployments. We've got a basic level of it that's free and comes with maintenance and support. So anybody that's on maintenance and support has a basic access to Userful Cloud with some basic tools in there. But the advanced subscription is required if you want the more advanced features in Userful Cloud. This is how Userful Cloud works. It is run on Amazon Web Services. Every deployment everywhere in the world calls back to AWS, and that's how it gets through a firewall. And then you, from wherever you are in the world, call in to that same server and are able to interact with the video wall, control and manage the video wall through the firewall over the internet as needed. Now, I should say that we do have many customers, of course, that don't have internet access on site. Almost everything we're talking about here, preset switcher, interactive viewer, all of these things are also available just within the local area network. Userful operates within the local area network. The only reason you need the internet is to get updates and if you do want to do some of this management remotely. So if your customers don't have internet access, do not fear. That does not limit you. You can still do all of those sorts of interactive things. The only things you can't do are upload content remotely to it, and of course interact with it through the cloud and schedule changes through the cloud as well. Let me show you how all of that works now. If I bounce back to the browser I've got open here, and let me look at Userful Cloud. So here you can see Userful Cloud, and what we've got here, you can select multiple PCs, and all of those PCs then you can deploy actions to all of them at the same time. So that's very handy. If, for example, you wanted to upload a single piece of content across all of them, there's a new video that you want to play, you want to put that on all of those PCs, you can do that. So this allows you to centrally manage that content. I am going to look at one specific computer here so I don't interact with someone else's PC here. This is one I know I'm allowed to play with. It's, of course, here, the Calgary office. With this, you can click on I for information and see all sorts of things about it, from the license type to the last time it checked in to the IP address. You can put notes in here as well, details about the organization. You get a quick look at what's going on, how many screens are available, any notifications that are there. This Actions tab, though, of course, is the key one. This is what allows you to go to Machine, which takes you to the Userful Control Center, again, through the cloud. It allows you to go to the Source Switcher or the Preset Switcher, and also allows you to schedule things. So let me show you quickly how scheduling works. I click on New Schedule, and I can choose then the time and then what I want to happen. So this allows you to, scheduling with Userful works much like a remote control on the TV. You change a channel and it stays on that channel until it hits a new event, until someone switches the channel, and then it changes to that. And so again, it uses presets, and so you would create those presets, and they could be changes simply to content, or it can be changes to the layout as well. You can switch from all 9 screens of your video wall showing one piece of content to 12 a.m. the next morning. It switches to each of those 9 screens showing different sources. All that can be done on a schedule, or it could just be simply a content change. But a very powerful tool. Again, this is a feature available through the cloud. Other things you can do here, you can upload files either from a PC itself or from the web. If I click on that, it will ask me simply what URL to pull down from the web. So that's a quick tour of what's available through Userful Cloud. You can also, of course, get notifications through your email. You can set that up to notify you when the PC is switched off, this kind of thing. Powerful tool, Userful Cloud, available through the advanced subscription, along with some of those other features that I was talking about a moment ago. And we're going to kind of switch gears to talk a bit about sales and marketing. So one of the key things to understand about how Userful markets this solution is that we've got a segmented approach to the use cases of our customers. Broadly speaking, our customers fall into 3 categories: artistic video walls for kind of unique non-standard video wall applications, grid video walls for digital signage, and control room video walls for network operation centers, control rooms. Those features are also the same ones that are often bundled up into meeting rooms, huddle rooms, where you want to have some flexibility over what is displayed where. So a lot of corporate communications fall into that category as well. We've built specific marketing and sales support materials around the unique needs of each of these subsets of customers. And so if you go to userful.com, you will see that we segment visitors that are coming into each of those sorts of use cases. So what I wanted to do now is take a brief tour of the website. If I click on this, hopefully it'll go to the right spot. Here we go to userful.com. So you can see if we scroll down, we're encouraging customers to click on their particular use case. And for example, if I click on control room solutions, you'll see we've got lots more information about control rooms. You can also look to the resources. We've got resources segmented out as well, where you can get a comparison chart for other control room solutions. You've got articles about control rooms, videos, and so on. So we've got great resources on the website itself for each of those segmented use cases, and that applies to all of those use cases that I've just cited. Just hopping back to the slides. The other thing I wanted to share was Userful's video series. We've got a series of mini videos here that are vital to anyone that's wanting to understand the solution. The great thing about this is that they are each it's a library essentially. Each of them is a short video, and if you watch one, you can look along the right-hand side, which is sort of like an index, and you choose the video wall subject that most interests you or that's most important to you or to your customer, and you can watch that, or you can just watch the whole series in sequence. Each of them are quite short, 2 minutes long, so you can send that specific video to your customer, and you can see here it's got a unique URL, or you can send them the whole series. So this is very helpful if you're wanting, just before a meeting to understand better how interactivity with Userful works. You can just click on that and watch that, or anything else. Or if your customer is interested in a particular aspect of Userful, or you can encourage them to watch the entire series. And obviously that'll give a very in-depth understanding of Userful and how the solution works. So the next slide to share here is examples of artistic video walls. This is one of the resources we've got on our website, and I wanted to share it with you here as well. It's linked off our partner portal also, but this will help any customer that's looking to deploy an artistic video wall and wants to know a few different possibilities about what kind of video wall they might deploy, and of course also then wanting to know, based on the displays they use, how large that video wall would be. Next thing on the sales and marketing front, we have with our partner portal. We have a partner portal which has got everything you need in terms of resources to help you get started. So I'm just going to click on Tour of a Partner Portal here. And now we're in the partner portal. There's a few things I wanted to highlight here for you. Just make sure that you've got that you're aware of. The first is the partner guides. If I click on that, you can see here we've got 3 different partner guides. These cover everything you need to know about working with Userful, and they are broken into 3 sections: understanding the solution, sales and marketing guide, and order fulfillment. And that kind of goes through the order, right? You've got to understand the solution, then you sell and market it, and then you've got to make sure you know how to fulfill it. So if we just click on each of those, I'll give you a quick flavor of what's there. We've got links to our sell sheet for each of the different use cases: control rooms, artistic video walls, digital signage, comprehensive series of product videos. That's the library I was just showing you, key resources to getting started. So this is a helpful guide in terms of getting you going on the solution, understanding it, and how it will help your customers. The next guide down is sales and marketing guide. So this talks about our inbound lead program, our demo kit, ideas on marketing Userful, and of course has our sales guides here, again each segmented into different use cases. Some key things within our partner portal, from beat sheets to presentations, and an explanation of where resources can be found on Userful's website. Next is order fulfillment, and this guide is all about taking it from quote to deployment. So we've got Userful's configuration tool. I will show you that in a moment. A note about only using a certified PC. This is important because Userful only allows commercial deployments on a certified PC. We certified a broad variety of PCs, but you need to get exactly that PC. It's not a recipe that you build. It is actually a specific model. And here's the reason. We have exactly those PCs here in our office, and we've tested everything on them. And should your customer ever run into an issue, we can duplicate it. We've got the same setup. And we also, of course, know exactly how those machines perform and can tell you exactly what they're capable of. So we've ensured that we've got the right PC for your own requirements. Notes about fulfillment times, and then deployment plan for your actual customer install, customer training, and then some notes about getting your installers up to speed in advance of a deployment and help during a deployment. So all very vital things. Beyond the partner guides, there's lots more in the sales and marketing toolkits. We've got sell sheets in here as well. Those I just mentioned, they're all linked off of those partner guides, but key sell sheets, for example, artistic video wall. This is all about how to sell the Userful artistic video wall to your customers. Talks about the features, gives you an overview of the market, and helps you position it. Talks about hardware requirements, gives some links to other resources, and of course also gives some of those templates, which I was just showing you a moment before. If we go back to the sell sheets, we've also got one on digital signage and video walls for public display. Again, same kind of thing, walks you through everything, key features, positioning, etc. And then we've got one for control rooms as well. That's a quick tour of the kind of things that are in the sales and marketing portal for our video wall. Demo and test content. We've got the beat sheets as well, case studies, training materials, graphics and images that you can use. This is a guide to setting up your own website. A page about Userful. That is one of the requirements of partners. All partners need to have a listing of Userful on their site, and there's lots of stuff that's available here to help you with that. In fact, even sample content, etc. as well. So I'm going to jump back over to our slides now. Talk a bit about our inbound lead program. This is one of the great tools for partners that are just getting started with Userful, and that is that we generate inbound leads and then pass them on to our partners. To participate in that, you've got a couple of different options. One thing is that you need to have one successful install, of course, under your belt. And then beyond that, you need to have that page up about Userful on your website. There's two options for that. One is we just help you out with it. There's lots of information about how to do that. Follow that URL, partner registration. And the other is AVIQ, which has a Userful page which you can invoke on your website. That way you just stay automatically up to date. AVIQ is a program for AV system integrators that want to use, take advantage of them to basically build their website catalog. So you can put all your products on your website through AVIQ, and it just ensures that they're always up to date. So we maintain our content on AVIQ, and then what you've got about Userful is always there and up to date as well. Either of those qualify in terms of our inbound lead program. So do please ensure that you've got your website listing with Userful in accordance with our regulations there, and then make sure you let us know about that so we can start sending on inbound leads. Portable demo kit. You should all have your demo system in the office. That's again one of the requirements of partners, that they actually have some Zero clients set up and a video wall that they're able to, of course, test and play with themselves, but also, maybe more importantly, show it off to the customers. This, however, is another option you might want to consider. It's a portable demo kit that Userful has built. Comes with 6 very small displays that fold into a suitcase with a mini PC, a small form factor PC, all set and ready to go, so you can deploy it in literally 5-10 minutes. Everything stays cabled together. You fold it up, put it into a suitcase that travels with you. Great way to travel around with a demo system. Great for tabletop use for small trade shows and events, or for customer demos on site. And so that is available from Userful as well. And get in touch if you're interested in that. Another tool here that I wanted to show you is the Userful configuration tool. I'm just going to click on that here, and we'll go over to the configurator. This allows you to see what requirements your customer has, and input those, and then output your pick list, what you need from Userful. So on the left-hand side here, you input your requirements and features, and then Userful's recommendations come up in the center, and on the right is the price and pick list. Everything here is retail price, of course, to note. So we'll just walk you through a few examples here. You can slide this and get the number of displays, and you can see as I change the number of displays, the appliance model changes as well. So now it's said after 12 displays, you can't use the entry-level PC, you need to use a mid-range PC. Then you choose the layout. So I'm going to choose an artistic video wall, and then suddenly, okay, we've moved ourselves into the creative bracket of license tier. If I move that back to grid video, I can see now we're in professional. How many sources do I want covering it? So I'm going to say several sources, but less than one per display. And now it asks about the video sources. What size are each of the video sources? And I can choose whether they're 1080p, 720, 4K, 6K, 8K. And if I change that, you can see again, now I've suddenly moved up to the high-end PC if I'm going to do an 8K source on the video wall. And then of course ask you the same thing about the browser sources. Down here it's captured sources. So this is HDMI and SDI capture. As I'm sure you know, Userful supports a broad variety of capture cards. You can capture 4K, you can capture 1080p. We use Blackmagic capture cards. They can get up to 8 1080p sources through a single card, and depending on the PC, mid-range or high-end, you can get multiple capture cards into that PC. So you've got quite a bit of flexibility on the capture. It does ask you if HDCP is required, so I'm going to say yes. I'm going to have one in 1080p capture source, and if HDCP is required, it will add a note here that you will need to get an appropriate HDCP splitter or switcher for the build. So I'm going to carry on down here to the different features. So if I want source switcher, preset switcher, and again, a lot of these have video explanations. If you're unsure what they are, you can see that as well. Do I need the API, picture-in-picture, failover? So it asks you about all these different options here. I'm just going to click on a few random ones, and then it'll tell me, what I'm wanting to, what I'm going to need to purchase, or what my customer is going to need to purchase here on the right-hand side with a pick list. Now, what it asks you to do below here is send us your build. It's important that you do this. Don't base your quote on this alone. Couple reasons to do that. One is we want to verify with you all of these details, ensure you've got them right. And also because if there's anything unclear about this, it might be worth some discussions with your Userful contact. So do send us your build. You put your name in, your email in, add your comments you've got here, and then we will work with you on it and make sure you've got everything that your customer needs. And you can see this pick list. Again, this is retail pricing. This isn't partner pricing. So let me hop back over here to the slides. There's some notes here now about where to sell video walls. So now, obviously, as a system integrator, you're likely to have a long list of customers that are after video walls already, but it's always good to think about where else you can sell video walls. So your existing customer base is obviously the great first target, and your existing customer prospects, great target as well. But let's just think about the many different use cases, because of course, video walls are it's a horizontal solution that can be used in just about any vertical. Here's some examples. With the corporate space for reception, lobbies, boardroom, corporate messaging, communication. Huddle rooms are big right now, where people are wanting to be able to gather in small groups and collaborate. And a video wall is ideal there, where they wanted to display information on it. Public spaces, digital signage common there, arenas, stadiums, sporting and entertainment venues, places where you're wanting to change the look and feel, to liven something up. And artistic video walls are often in high demand in those areas where people want to stand out from the crowd, really change the ambiance of a space. Retail, auto dealership, showrooms, places where people are wanting to interact with video walls to help with customer work. So not just marketing, but turning those video walls into sales tools. For example, in auto dealerships, where just like we were walking through our configurator, the auto dealer might want to be able to walk a customer through a configurator on a big video wall so they can get good visualization of what they're choosing off that configurator. Command and control centers, obviously in high demand in many different places where you've got security teams or network operations centers or other places where key decisions are being made and multiple sources of content and multiple dashboards or information feeds need to come through. We see these being deployed into executive suites where CEOs need to ensure that they're viewing multiple dashboards or simply into other parts of an organization where they want to ensure that the team is aware of all that's going on. Network operations center, meeting rooms, corporate boardrooms, broadcast and live events. The list is really endless. Anywhere you've got customers looking to stand out from the crowd or to visualize shared data and information, video walls are ideal. A couple last points about sales and marketing, some value props to remember. Userful uses all standard parts, no proprietary hardware. It's an AV solution with IT infrastructure. Customers love this. Today, AV and IT are merging in all sorts of interesting ways, but the truth is that many of your customers are going to be IT people deploying AV products, and they're going to love the fact that this works with a network, with a PC, and of course, even AV folks as well realize that with AV over IP and video over IP, things are changing, and the age of black boxes where you've got a proprietary piece of hardware that's been very expensive and often is difficult to support. Those are gone. Using a PC and the network is the way of the future. Video walls are about catching attention. If you want to stand out, artistic video walls are for that. And once your customers seeing what we can do with artistic video walls and how simple it is to do it, they're going to realize this comes in within their budget. A lot of times people with these kind of video walls think that it's going to be unaffordable. And really with Userful, it's quite the opposite. We're really about making sure that we can save those deals that you've got where your customer wants something unique, but maybe fears that their wallet isn't big enough. That's where we can help. Control rooms, network operations center, video walls are often expensive. Userful, again, has the bells and whistles at a fraction of the price. We've got all those features we're talking about for interactivity. You're able to control the video wall from your browser, be able to preset all your options and switch them in great ways. So really control rooms, network operations centers, and particularly network operations centers where with a lot of other video wall controllers, you've got to plug in multiple PCs to get the browsers up onto the video wall. You can have as many browsers as you need run directly off the Userful PC, which is a great deal of savings. You don't have to have those other computers running to generate the screen to be captured and put up onto the video wall. Ease of use is one of our big value props. Whenever we survey our customers, this is what we hear back. Keep it simple. Userful is easy to use, and customers want those advanced features, but it needs to be simple, and that's what Userful is. Multiple screens, video walls synced using one PC, so being able to do both digital signs and video walls is very important. We've got lots of customers that are looking for sort of immersive experience. They want to be able to have video walls, yes, but also individual screens around their location as well, and we can do exactly that and sync them all when needed. I haven't mentioned this yet, but Userful does have a full redundancy option, automated failover, where you can have a second PC alongside the first, ready to inherit the screens should anything go wrong with that first PC, hardware failure, etc. That second PC will automatically take over. Easy expandability is another one, another value prop we hear about again and again from our partners and our customers, being able to add screens in the future, grow your deployment. And again, finishing on that last point, when a 2x2 video wall just won't do, Userful can help. And we're really about those advanced requirements, making them affordable and also easy to use. Finally, we're here to support you. Let us know your marketing plans and requirements. Here's some launch ideas: lunch and learn, open house. Those are all great. An email blast to customers, a webinar for customers. We can help with all of those things. We can give a WebEx and remote demos to your customers as needed. Just let us know. If you do mailers or emails, let us know you need help with content. We can do that as well. And of course, our inbound lead gen program. Once you've got a listing of Userful on your website, per our guidelines, it can be a page devoted to Userful or a section devoted to Userful. It does need to have a backlink as part of that, and that's a great way to get some inbound leads into the funnel as well. couple quick screens I wanted to share. Here's some Userful sample deployments, and these are available in our partner portal if you want to use them in your own presentations as well. A variety of different grid video walls, some of them using zones and so on, as well as more artistic style video walls or unique one-of-a-kind video walls. That accordion one you can see, the bottom middle is great, as are the LG stretch displays on the right-hand side. And of course, control room video walls and more digital signage mixed in with video walls on the bottom as well. And so that, folks, is it. And so time for a Q&A.